In a bold move that has raised eyebrows internationally, U.S. President Donald Trump announced on February 2nd his plans to halt future aid to South Africa, citing claims of discrimination against U.S. citizens and businesses operating within the country. The announcement, made via a post on his social media platform Truth Social, marks the latest escalation in the ongoing tensions between the United States and the African nation. Trump's post outlined his frustration with South Africa's treatment of U.S. interests, specifically accusing the country of enacting policies that discriminate against American citizens and companies. While the specifics of the alleged discrimination were not provided in detail, the president's words echoed a broader sentiment of dissatisfaction that has been building for some time regarding South Africa's domestic and international policies. I am announcing today that the United States will no longer provide any foreign aid to South Africa, Trump wrote in his statement. This country has been abusing American companies and citizens for far too long. Their actions are unacceptable, and we will no longer stand by while they continue to discriminate against U.S. interests. The move has taken many by surprise, given that South Africa is one of the largest recipients of U.S. foreign aid in sub-Saharan Africa. The U.S. has provided substantial financial assistance to South Africa over the years, particularly in areas such as health, education, and economic development. In recent years, much of this aid has been directed toward combating HIV/AIDS, supporting democratic governance, and addressing the country's challenges with poverty and inequality. However, Trump's new stance signals a shift in U.S. foreign policy, potentially undermining decades of diplomatic and humanitarian efforts. This is not the first time that President Trump has expressed intentions to act against South Africa. Over the past several years, the president has made multiple statements criticizing the country's policies, particularly in relation to land reform and its handling of race relations. Trump has been outspoken about the land expropriation without compensation issue, which has sparked significant controversy both within South Africa and internationally. South African authorities have proposed laws that allow for land to be seized from white farmers and redistributed to Black South Africans, a policy that Trump has condemned as dangerous and unconstitutional. The land reform debate has been a point of contention for many in the international community. Proponents of the policy argue that it is necessary to address historical inequalities and the legacy of apartheid, which left a significant portion of land in the hands of a white minority. Critics, however, warn that the policy could destabilize the country's economy and exacerbate existing social tensions. Trump's criticism of the policy has resonated with some in the U.S. who view the expropriation as unjust and harmful to property rights. In addition to land reform, Trump has also raised concerns about the South African government's handling of crime and corruption. South Africa has struggled with high levels of violent crime, and critics have accused the government of not doing enough to address the issue. Trump has previously voiced frustration with the country's inability to protect the safety of its citizens, as well as the lack of progress in tackling corruption within the government. South African leaders have responded to Trump's criticism in various ways. In the past, they have defended their policies as necessary steps toward rectifying the injustices of apartheid. President Cyril Ramaphosa, who took office in 2018, has emphasized the need for inclusive economic growth and social transformation. While Ramaphosa has sought to attract foreign investment and improve relations with the U.S. and other global powers, Trump's rhetoric has complicated these efforts, leading to a growing sense of diplomatic tension between the two nations. Trump's decision to halt aid comes at a time when South Africa is already facing significant challenges. The country is grappling with widespread poverty, unemployment, and inequality, all of which have been exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. The government's ability to address these issues has been hindered by ongoing economic difficulties, including slow growth and rising debt levels. In this context, foreign aid has been seen as an essential tool for addressing some of the most pressing issues facing the country. For many, Trump's decision to cut off aid is seen as an overly harsh response to a complex and multifaceted situation. Critics of the move argue that it will only deepen the hardships faced by ordinary South Africans and could further strain relations between the two countries. This is not the way to engage with a sovereign nation, said one international relations expert. Foreign aid is a vital part of building partnerships and fostering stability in the developing world. Cutting off support will only alienate South Africa and harm the very people that the aid is intended to help. Despite the backlash, there are those who support Trump's stance, viewing it as a necessary measure to hold South Africa accountable for its actions. South Africa has been treating U.S. businesses and citizens unfairly for too long, said a political analyst. Trump is simply standing up for American interests, and it's time that other nations understand that there are consequences for discriminatory practices. The potential impact of Trump's decision remains to be seen. While the U.S. is not South Africa's largest donor, the suspension of aid could still have a significant effect on the country's ability to address its social and economic challenges. South Africa will likely look to other international partners for support, but the loss of U.S. aid could create additional difficulties, particularly in the health sector, where U.S. funding has been crucial to combating diseases like HIV/AIDS. In the coming days, it is expected that the South African government will issue a formal response to Trump's announcement. It is also likely that discussions will intensify regarding the broader implications of the decision, both in terms of U.S. foreign policy and the state of U.S.-South African relations. As the situation unfolds, it will be important to monitor the reactions from other global powers and international organizations, as Trump's actions could set a precedent for future interactions between the U.S. and other nations facing similar issues. For now, the focus remains on the next steps for both the U.S. and South Africa. Will the two countries find a way to resolve their differences through diplomatic means, or will this latest move by Trump further escalate tensions and lead to a more significant rupture in their relationship? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. Trump's announcement on February 2nd has reignited a contentious debate over the future of U.S. foreign aid and its role in global diplomacy.